I think for me, in my mind, thinking about being unstoppable has really been anchored in knowing that I can continue, I can go. I think I've always lived with that philosophy of bloom where you're planted. It doesn't matter where you are. If there's soil in the ground, if there's water and there's rain coming down, you can grow.
The unstoppable conversation continues. Happy Women's Month. This week, I am in conversation with somebody I have known all of my life. She probably knew about me before I was born. So, right, you guessed it. I'm in conversation this week with my sister, my friend, business partner, Chief Operating Officer at Giving Wings, and the force that has been with me on this journey of being unstoppable. Joining me today in our feature of Unstoppable, please welcome Thato Morobane. Hello, Thato.
Hi, Kifilo. What an introduction. I always get nervous when we have to do these things and talk about each other. So that introduction, it reminded me of where I've been and what I've been doing. So thank you so much.
So good to do this with you. It's been a month since you've joined Giving Wings full time. So what a journey that has been, and we'll talk more about it. But for those who don't know, who is Thato? Who is Thato? Tell us.
Sure. So when we started the conversation, you said to me, you're such a quiet person. No one really knows you. And that is really who I am. I'm a very quiet person, an introvert of some sort, the middle child, the middle child in the family. I'm a mom. I am a partner. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I think as a woman, you become all these things, and I have, taken it upon myself to really embody all of these amazing roles that I carry in my life.
Yeah. So true. So there's a joke like mom always tells, and she's like, when we were young, she would be able to leave you on a couch, even with like goods and stuff on the table, and you'd never bother the things on the table. You'd always just be so prim and proper, seated as this little toddler on a chair. Whereas with me, I would be like ravaging everything because I'm the extrovert, and indeed you are the introvert. Tata, what inspired you to do what you do? What's inspired that?
I think there was something in me sitting as a child and constantly observing, because I've always been that person who likes to really observe and watch how life unfolds. And, being a middle child, we have an older brother and an older sister, and then they came you.
Yeah.
And, when you are in that space of being in the middle, I think your role just evolves to being the one who observes, the one who says, I'm not going to do what the older brother's doing, or you observe the little child in the family, and you're like, I'm not going to get myself involved in this. And it really was that, having to understand that as life was happening around me, it gave me an opportunity to really sit through and observe and see as things unfold. And I've carried that a lot in my life into my career, which is really having to focus and strategize and identify where the gaps are and where the loopholes are. And I think that has played such a pivotal role in who I am today, because it's influenced a lot of the decisions that I've had to make in my life. And I know we're going to talk about career and everything, but I think even as a child growing up, trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do with my life, what it is that I wanted to do with my career, it always stemmed from actually finding myself in that quiet space to see what was happening around me and observe it and find where my space existed. And I've carried that a lot in terms of my growth path and as well as who I am today.
Okay, so being an observer, you strategize a lot, planning forward how things should be. You are big on operations and systems and processes, making things work. You've recently just transitioned from an extensive career in corporate into business and being my business partner at Giving Wings. How's that transition been, and what inspired the transition?
I think I've always been in this space,
Yeah.
even in my role in corporate, I was very intentional about entrepreneurship. I believe that, we exist to solve problems, and
Yeah.
as we grow and we evolve as humans, problems arise. So for me, it wasn't actually a transition, it was a continuation. And having to move full time into the business space, I think it really called upon some essence that at times I was like, oh, can I do this? Can I not do this?
Yeah.
But it was really in reflecting back on the years that I'd spent in corporate and always wanting to find solutions. And even in the solutions that we would adopt and we would execute on, there were always learnings that I would take away from it. So my transitioning into full-time entrepreneurship really came through with that belief that, in the work that I was doing, I could work on solving problems. There are lots more problems out there. And I think in the work that we do for entrepreneurs, it gave me an opportunity to really start thinking differently in terms of how we can become creative in the space that allows us to be creative. Because I think that's what entrepreneurship gives you. It gives you the flexibility to quickly become agile when things are not moving as they should. And that has been, it's been a joy to see myself doing it. And in a month's time, I think we've been able to do quite a lot of work. We've been able to bring our brand as well forward, which has been something that I was very, very passionate about.
So true. So a lot of people actually don't know, but Kifilwe, I'm always talking about giving wings, and I love all the media appearances around the business. But Thato has been the guiding force at Giving Wings, where if it wasn't because of you, I'm not too sure there would be a Giving Wings, because initially I came with the idea. I've always been the public speaker, always loved the human development side. But it was actually Thato who I had the conversation with 11 years ago. I was actually visiting her at her house, and I'd come from a public speaking engagement. And I said to Thato that, even if I didn't get paid to do this, I would still be coaching and helping people. And it was you who said it to me. She's like, let's start a business. And at that time, I didn't see it. Like, how can I be in entrepreneurship? And 10 years later, we are here in the Giving Wings journey. How has the month been?
Just to step back a bit, I think we've always been in business.
Yes.
Even when we were younger,
correct,
we would find ways to just sell off things. We would, especially when it would become hot in summer, we would create little ice lollies and we would sell them to the kids in the neighborhood.
Acha.
My mom,
sell acha.
Mom would make acha, and then mom would leave these buckets. And after a month, she's like, "Why is my bucket just like? Where is the acha?" Because she wouldn't give it, it wouldn't be given away, but you and I would sell them on the side. So I think entrepreneurship has been something that we've always been passionate about. I think you more than me, because you've been such a driving force in the work that we do in Giving Wings. And I think for me, it has been just understanding the vision that you carry. The conversation we had 11 years ago in my kitchen was really around, there's this vision you have and how do we carry it forward? And I think what has been such a guiding force between you and me is that I come through with that operational mindset around how do we structure this? How do we put this together? How do we actually execute on the plan? And that has been such a nice balance between us, and it's worked really well. So for me, in the month that I've been fully in the company, it hasn't felt any different, because we still have 3-hour conversations every night. We still talk about, the things that we want to do, which was what I was doing when I was still in formal employment. And we still do strategize around what is it that we can do to elevate our business and elevate our brand. So the month in has been phenomenal in that I've actually got to spend more time with the team. So being part of the team on an everyday basis, having those conversations, seeing how we gel together and formulate creating a way of work that makes us innovative in our approach has been the key focus. So I'd say the first month has really been exciting. And I think, even us having this conversation in my second month now,
Yes,
we
yes,
are
going
in
to-
Women's Month,
Yeah.
has been one of those that has reminded me the importance of females and us being in the space of business. So I think, it's been an exciting few weeks, and
Correct.
and it's been an exciting 10 years. I think that's the big one for me.
Yay, 10 years of giving wings. So give me feedback. I am your leader. And surprisingly enough, I am the younger sister. Many people at times are questioning who's older, Kifilo or Thato. I will officially announce I am last born. I'm the younger sister. So give me feedback. How am I as a leader? How is Kifilo as a leader?
I think you are very similar to how you were when we were younger.
Yeah.
You are one who's very vocal.
Yes.
You will say what is on your mind. And I think, in terms of from a leadership perspective, you're very supportive. You are open to new ideas. You're open to being innovative, and you're open to trying out things that you haven't even done before.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's been very, inspiring for me, is that beyond just being your business partner and your sister, there's an element of trust that we formulated even in this first month now, fully working together,
Yeah.
which is, taking the insights that I bring, applying it with the knowledge that you've accumulated for all these years, and seeing how do we gel these two things together so that we execute properly. I think for me as a leader, within the team, and we are a growing team.
Yeah.
It's been watching you guide our team in a way that is so balanced. We are very intentional about the work that we do. We are very passionate about the work that we do. In the same breath, we allow space for a generation that is coming after us to give us innovation and ideas around how we can elevate. And I think creating a safe space for our people, having come into the organization full time and seeing the safe space. You and I talk about it all the time because of our human development focus.
Correct.
But being in this space and seeing our people feeling safe continuously,
Yeah.
I think that is what has really given me a newfound respect for you as a leader, to say that you are intentional around creating safe spaces. And we've been able to do this in our own organization, which actually allows us to do it with other people as well.
So true, Tato, so true. I want to find out from you, there's a lot of criticism about family businesses, and siblings being in business together. What is your view on that?
I think it's a very contentious one, because, people are different. And I think it's when you fully understand in terms of what the roles are. And I think with you and me, we've been very, very intentional about having the tough conversations. We don't shy away from tough conversations. We're really honest with each other with regards to, this is where I am, this is how I feel. And I think a lot of the times when it comes to family, we tend to compromise. Because we fear how the other person will react to what I need to say. There's a need to maintain the longevity of that relationship. And I think with you and me, we've had that conversation up front to say that, there is business. We are building a legacy. And then there's us. And in that, it's merged together. So we constantly need to find each other where we feel like, oh, I'm losing it here. We need to find each other and bring it back again to what the main focus is. And what has really guided us, I think, has been the clarity around the vision. We've been very clear in terms of what it is that we want to do, what it is that we want to achieve, and our purpose as well. And I think that is what has really anchored our ability to work together, those honest conversations, and just being upfront with each other and being very respectful towards each other. I think we're very, very intentional about how we respect each other's space, and we also respect each other's dreams, and we bring that together in understanding that we've got a big vision to execute on.
True. So it's been the communication, and at the forefront, I'm very detailed in communication. Tato and I have meetings. We book things in the diaries. So it's also around establishing those boundaries. There are boundaries where we're like, here we're going to talk work, here we're going to talk family, and our purpose is anchored on the bigger vision, where we are taking giving wings. I'm truly grateful and excited. And it's a testimony that siblings and family can do business together. There is something so powerful about just that legacy
Correct.
that you are building as an organization. So that really stands out for me. So Thato, our theme for this conversation is about being unstoppable. What does it mean to you to be unstoppable?
Oh, it's so funny because when we sat down and we started talking about
Yeah.
unstoppable, in my mind, you envision all these women that have been trailblazers and you've been one of them, and you've spoken to many of them throughout the month. And I think for me, in my mind, thinking about being unstoppable has really been anchored in knowing that I can continue, I can go.
Yeah.
When another day is in front of me, when the sun rises, I know that I have to get up and go because there is no joy in just being still. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of the times when I've had to really reflect back on my life, I've had multiple challenges, but each challenge has forced me to move forward. So in the constant movement of myself, my dreams, my visions, I think that is really what has anchored being unstoppable for me, is that I'm still intentional about that dream that I have 3 years from now, 4 years from now. I remember sitting back 6 years ago and you and I had the conversation and I said, I'm going to join the company full time. And it was really around working towards that, having to achieve a lot of milestones in my life, had to deal with quite a lot of, tribulations that one goes through, but still keeping in mind that one day this is what's going to happen for me. And that is what has continued to guide me in terms of moving forward. If there's motion, if there's movement, there's no stopping. So that is what has really, for me, anchored being unstoppable, is knowing that there's a vision that I'm working toward. It's just another day away or another month away or even another year away, but I need to move towards it.
Sure. Thato, there are women out there who feel stuck. They feel stuck in their careers, in their purposes as mothers, wives, and they are not moving forward. They feel as though everything is just so stagnant. What's your message to those women?
Sure. I think at times we all find ourselves there. We all find ourselves in spaces where we're not seeing things shift the way in which we want them to shift. I think I've always lived with that philosophy of bloom where you're planted. It doesn't matter where you are. If there's soil in the ground, if there's water and there's rain coming down, you can grow. So it's really about finding spaces where there is joy in everything that we experience. So you might be sitting in a space where you're feeling like, I cannot get out of this. But what is this space there to teach you? What are you here to learn within that space in which you've been planted? And what is the main objective to enable you to bloom? So what is the water that you need? And sometimes that water comes from just the support systems that you might not be aware of within your circle. Your ability to reach out and say, hey, I'm not in a good space right now. I need a little bit of help. Or finding those moments of joy in family. Sometimes when you feel stuck, is your ability to get out, get a bit of sun, go exercise, do something. Because it's when we are moving that we know that we are not stuck. When we sit and we wallow in it, then being stuck really sets in. And I think for me, it's always around finding ways to move myself out of the space, whether it's really spending time out of the space that I'm in through hiking, gymming, doing crazy things, which I love to do. But it's really about finding your way out of it by actually finding the sunshine, which could be family, books, reading, engagements. Investing in yourself and knowing that it's not forever.
So finding the sunshine, no matter what it is that's going on in your life, find the sunshine, keep moving, keep it moving. That's Women's Month. What is your message to women out there?
I think, and you speak about it a lot of the time around how we are such a force, like we literally are a force. We birth humans. We do so much in this world. We are mothers, we are sisters, we are aunts and everything. I think as women, it's time to a time like this calls for reflection. And it's also a time that calls for acknowledgement of the achievements that you have done in your life. You know, we work with a lot of women in terms of entrepreneurship and the work that we do with Basari. And a few weeks ago, we had a workshop, and I said to the ladies in our opening, let's talk about the good things that have happened in your business. Let's talk about the good things.
I love that.
Yeah, and I don't think we talk about the good things enough. And I don't think we really shine a spotlight on the good things that we do. And I think a lot of the times, especially in a moment of being in a celebratory mood, we should talk more about the good things. We should talk more about the exciting changes that we're making in this entire world. And I think as women, we should just allow ourselves that space, give ourselves the freedom to really shine a light on ourselves.
Oh, shine a light on self, celebrate the good, elevate the good. Complete the sentence. I am unstoppable because
I'm unstoppable because I am carried by a force that is bigger than me. My purpose is clear, my vision is clear, and at times I might stagger along the way in terms of getting there. But in knowing that it is clear for me, it is what keeps me moving and really what pushes me forward.
Thato, my sister, I want to thank you for pushing me all these years to be unstoppable, because on this journey of being an entrepreneur, I've had many moments where I have doubted myself. I've wanted to say enough the last 10 years, but a phone call from you, sometimes before a big speaking engagement, before a massive workshop, I just get a message from you that says, you are going to do well. Relax, have fun, keep going. And you don't understand what has that meant for me. I'm excited to have you in the business full time. I look forward to the impact that we are going to spearhead through Giving Wings. May we continue to be unstoppable.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think, the work you do is so phenomenal. A lot of people understand that us as Giving Wings, we work with quite a number of JSE listed companies, but it goes beyond that. It's around building that authenticity in the delivery of what it is that we actually do.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's been such a joy the last, I'm not going to give away my age, but 30 odd years of just knowing you and being around you and watching you be very intentional about your dream. And I think, especially when we celebrate women, we celebrate Women's Month, it's clarity and intentionality. Be intentional about what it is that you want to do. And thank you for being brave, bold, and intentional and really teaching us the true meaning of showing up.
Oh, I love you so much, my sister. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you have it. A conversation with my sister, my business partner, my friend, the Chief Operating Officer at Giving Wings, and the force that has helped me on my journey to be unstoppable. It's true, family can do business together. We are sisters and we are still in business. It's all about clarity, alignment of values, alignment of purpose, and then walking steadfastly in that mission. Ladies, I wish you all the best. It has been an absolute honor and joy having these interviews with Rifilwe, Jayshri, and Thato. I hope you walked away with just nuggets that will help you on your journey. Remember, you are a force. Let's continue to be unstoppable.